my website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, got this really interesting comment below one of the videos on YouTube from a guy who's just, been practicing 5 or 6 hours a day for 6 months now, and he's getting nowhere. And it's a long comment. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but a thing that really, when you read this little part of it, you know what's wrong. You know what this guy is really, or if you're listening to this, this is what tells me what you need to do, because he writes, or you write, I know my scales, I know all my chords, and I still bleep suck. How can you know all your scales and all your chords, or all your rhythms? How can you know it all and then still suck? Because you don't master it. That's the whole thing. You can't know all your chords and know all your scales. That's worth nothing. It's nothing. It's like being able to play football. I know how to kick, I know how to run. But once the game starts, you can't do anything because knowing isn't enough. It needs to be absolutely automatic. It needs to be like your skills on the playing field. You need to be able to say, okay, I want to kick the ball to that guy, but you don't think about how to position your foot, in relation to the ball and how to, okay, the angle goes like this, I have to kick like, that's all too conscious. You have to be unconscious about what you do in order for you to really play the game. Same thing with music. As long as you settle for good and you keep practicing to the level of good, and you practice this and you practice that, and you know your chords and you know your scales and you know your licks, then you can't do anything. You can't. It's worthless. You have to stop that focus, which is in the culture. We all think like that. If we don't wake up to the fact that, good is not good enough. As a very dear, not friend of mine, but as a very clever guy said once, good is the enemy of great. Jim Collins. If you focus on good, you will never be great. You will never master anything. So in order to step out of the depression of not making any progress the way you thought you would, you have to do the most non-intuitive thing of all. And drop the mediocre, focusing on all the different skills you have to learn, and take out one little thing and focus on it with all your might and power and get an actual result on the level of mastery. And when I say mastery, I mean as good as you can possibly become. Ultimately. I mean focusing on that. Taking out something, say, okay, can I play 2 chords? And I've been talking a lot about this. But we have to, because it's such an ingrained part of the culture and how we teach each other to play guitar or do anything, how we think about our lives, we're so ingrainedly conditioned to think that good is good enough. It's not. It's crap. Sorry. But, if you're frustrated about your progress, it's because you think it's crap. It's not good enough because it doesn't bring you anywhere. Sorry to be so very direct about it. You have to break out of the hypnosis of mediocre. Because we say, okay, I'm good at it. Who gives a hoot? It's nice if it's a little hobby. But if it's a passion of yours, an enthusiastic, magical passion, you want to aim for the level of mastery, because that's the only place where you find magic. Right? You can look up to your idols and buy the signature guitars and dream away a little bit when you play up against that jam track and get a little smell of the magic. But if you want to experience the magic full on, you have to stop focusing on every single little thing you can learn and practice a little of this and a little of that. That's the beginner approach, and that's fine in the beginning because you want to learn a couple of songs and learn to play a couple of licks. Makes you feel like you're making progress. But at some point you want to drop all that and say, now I'm aiming to become a musician. And the only way to do that is to take out something very small and then hammer away at it 75% of your time. If you spent 5 hours out of the 6 playing 3 notes on one string, or going back and forth just between 2 different scale shapes, learning sequences within these 2 scale shapes, licks, rhythms, focus for 5 hours a day, and spent the last hour on doing something else. Or you might, whatever practice time you have available to you. You want to make that decision about what to focus on. And then you might get tired of playing back and forth in these 2 scale shapes or whatever it is that you're focusing on, or playing three notes on one string. And then for a couple of months or a month or a week, you do something completely else. But then you get back to it. You want to pick out one thing that you want to master or die trying, right? And that kind of commitment, what does that mean? That's not, I'm not saying that for fun. I mean, master it or die trying. That's a commitment that says, I'm going to, keep practicing this with focus until I learn it, or I'll just die trying, because it's not learning it, it's not mastering that's really the key here. It's aiming for something greater than just good, right? And in that aiming, you keep that shining light alive of being able to do something magical, and you keep going for it, right? And this, it's just so, and it's counterintuitive, because it's just, your brain's going to tell you to practice a little of each and everything, and it brings you nowhere, right? You know all the scales, you know all the chords, you know your rhythms, but musicians have to be unconscious about what they do, otherwise they cannot play music. They can reproduce music, anxiously with focus, and here's the chords, right? That's knowing stuff. You need to master it so you can... Right, so you can just set yourself free and play ball without having to focus on the skills of playing ball. That's another thing that we'll talk about this comment here, but that's the next video. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.